Hi guys, this PowerPoint is to talk to you about writing introductions and conclusions for your research essay. There's also a handout on Google Classroom, or you got it in class, that gives you an example of a well-written introduction and conclusion. That's just another mentor text for you to use to help you craft your essay. But let's right now take a look at introductions. What do you think a good introduction has? This would be a good time to pause this video, take a look at the sample introduction on the handout, and what you wrote down as key structures in that introduction that made it effective. Most people say things like the description in the first paragraph is interesting, or the author has a clear claim. But there are three major things that a good introduction, any good introduction has. A major premise, what you're basing your reasoning, what you're basing the rest of your essay on. Remember, a major premise is something that most people can agree with. It's general. It's not about the particular topic you're writing about, but it's something most people can agree with. In addition, a good introduction has some sort of compositional risk, an interesting and intriguing structure that makes the reader want to keep reading. I think in the sample one from your warm-up, it's the description of that episode of 24, the television series. Even if you haven't seen that show, the way he describes it is so engaging that it makes you want to keep reading. And a claim. That's the position that your essay is arguing, and we have already discussed claims in some detail. So hopefully most of you already have them for your essays. Now I have an example paragraph here. Remember the topic for synthesis essays from the 2014 essay? I'm sorry, 15 essay. It was about whether the cost of college is worth it. Read this example along with me and see if you can find those three things from the last slide: the major premise, the compositional risk, and the claim. So read along with me and see if you can find them. Looking out over a sea of caps and gowns at a college graduation, one often notices the masking tape messages on the top of the caps that students use to summarize their thoughts as they're about to enter the real world. Many students share the total cost of their education, often totaling $250,000 and more. These images crystallize the fear that the money spent or borrowed to get a bachelor's degree in the United States will not be worth it in the end. However, the college experience teaches fundamental ways of thinking and provides lessons that the real world could never teach. College is worth the investment because it inspires young people to think freely and aim high. So in this paragraph, this introduction paragraph, we have those three elements of a good introduction. Our first one starts with looking out over the sea of caps and gowns and ends with $250,000 and more. That is the compositional risk. In particular, it's imagery. You can really picture what is going on here. You can imagine those students at the graduation with the messages on their caps. Much like the sample essay, it is engaging. It makes you want to keep reading. Next, this is the major premise. Most people can agree that these images crystallize the fear that the money spent or borrowed will not be worth it in the end. That's something most people can agree with. The thing is, it's contrasting to my claim. College is worth the investment because it inspires young people to think freely and aim high. Much like in the sample essay by Johnson, the major premise here is something that the claim disagrees with. So let's talk now about conclusions. What do you think a good conclusion has? If you look at the sample one from the handout, there's probably a circle of satisfaction, meaning it brings your reader back to the ideas that you presented in the introduction in some way. Maybe it references the television episode, or it references an image or a simile or a metaphor. There's a summary, a repeating and a confirming of what you stated throughout the essay. And there's a rephrasing of your claim. Same position in different words, so that the reader comes away really understanding your position. Take a look at this sample conclusion. In this sample conclusion, we have those three things. We have that circle of satisfaction where it references something from the original introduction. We have a summary and we have a rephrasing of the claim. See if you can identify all three. The experience of a liberal education is irreplaceable. It is through learning how to think that people in our society are able to achieve success and constantly strive to be better. For these reasons, a college education is worth the investment, in spite of the costs associated. After all, those graduation caps symbolize more than just debt. They symbolize the free thinking that allows graduates to reach for their goals. So we have those three parts here. First, I want to point out that circle of satisfaction. Coming back to the image that was brought up in the introduction, that image of the graduates with the messages on their graduation caps. It's very satisfying to end an essay on a similar idea that you started it. Next, we have the claim. It's rephrased, but it's the same idea, that college is worth the investment despite the cost associated. And the reasons are listed above. I summarize my why I'm writing the essay above. The experience of a liberal education is irreplaceable because of how it allows young people to learn how to think. So this is what I want you to do now. Revisit the essay you've written and highlight the following key items in different colors, kind of like I did in this presentation. In your introduction, find your compositional risk, your major premise, and a claim. And then in your conclusion, find that circle of satisfaction, summary, and a rephrasing of the claim. Highlight them in different colors, just like I did in this presentation. If you're missing or need help reworking any of these items, talk to your classmates in a peer conference, and then talk to me. We want to help you fill in the gaps and have the best introduction and conclusion you can have. Thank you. Look forward to seeing you guys in class.